Welcome back to our second podcast. I'm Christina Kutzer-Palmer, and today we have Sean K. Clement, music composer, and along with us we have musician Cory Pesaturo, three-time world accordion champion and Guinness World Record holder.
It is world champion accordion player Cory Pesaturo. That is a custom-made accordion right there. Look at it. Whoa! That's not an accordion. I don't think I've ever heard an accordion sound like that. Keep on in. Hey, you're on fire. This game is made for you, buddy.
Not your usual accordion player, but an accordionist nonetheless.
Good to
Welcome
be here,
today.
So good to be here.
So yeah, as I mentioned in my first podcast, some of the things I'm going to do throughout the series is bring in different musicians and people from the industry that I've worked with and known for a long time, and kind of get their spin on what it's like to work and collaborate. And unfortunately, today you're not going to hear any accordion right now.
Right now.
Later.
We're missing the battery for this accordion. So, but anyway, we can chat. One of the cool things, and I got the hiccups, which is not cool, but
Great timing for hiccups.
perfect. One of the things, what was I going to say? Yeah, just like I was talking about, like different instruments. And one of the incredible things about being a film and TV composer or a video game composer, any kind of media, is you get to go and do every kind of music, every kind of different thing. You get to meet lots of different people, all kinds of different musicians that you never would meet. So this happens to be one of them. Cory and I have been friends with maybe 10 years,
Somewhere in there.
and we're working on something right now, some really way out stuff.
It's pretty way out.
Yeah.
It's not atonal, but it's out there.
It's out there, and so, I would say, so Cory, just tell us about your career. Like how'd you start, and what made you play the accordion?
Well, yeah, that's really the question. Why would a kid in the 90s decide to start playing accordion?
Because it's cool.
Yeah, it's a great way to get ladies. Play accordion, exactly.
Yeah.
In America. My dad played the accordion back when it was popular as a little kid, and then because being Italian, you have to play accordion. That's what you did in those days. And then he quit when it was no longer cool, which is pretty much the day the Beatles landed on Ed Sullivan Show. That was the end of the accordion. It had started to fall off, but that was really it. And he asked me if I wanted to play when I was 9.5, and I said, okay, I want to make my parents proud, especially really wanted me to play. Okay, I'll play accordion. But I didn't want it. And I always loved and still love sports. I'm very, very big on sports. And I was not good at sports. But this was something I had talent for. So even though I didn't love it, I was like, I can win at this. This is something I can do. So even up through the time I had won a national championship at 15, which ties a record for youngest person to win a national championship, I still mainly did it for the competition more than the music aspect of it. But I always improvised, so that was always fun to me. And I always got in trouble for improvising, of course. You're supposed to play it like this. Well, I think Chopin would have liked it kind of like this. He's a jazz guy. But it was really when I found jazz that opened it up. I said, oh my God, this instrument can do everything. I can be the bass player, I can be the comp, I can be the soloist, I can actually be the drag, I can do all these different things. And then also, a little after that, the electronic accordion really came to the fore. So it was kind of all that timing. And I was like, oh, wait a minute, I really, really love music. But I always wanted it to be my career because I was like, I can get up late. I mean, you know that. Going to bed at 6 a.m. as a film composer. I want to stay up late and get up late and not have to be in rush hour traffic, especially if I was here in L.A., and not lead a normal life. And a musician, that sounds fun. So I kind of always wanted to do it. But then it became both a love and what I wanted to do. And it has always been my cause to, make accordion cool again, because it hasn't been cool for a long time. And accordion players will say, oh, no, that's wrong. It's been cool. It's like, no, it's not. No, it's not.
You're going to give it a comeback.
It is cool in Brazil, in Argentina, in Scandinavia. somewhat in Russia. It's becoming a thing in China. You can go country by country. It's different. But for the most part around the world, it's still, even in Italy, we think, oh, accordion's big in Italy. No, it's the same as here. If you talk to someone and say, I play accordion, like, oh, my grandfather plays accordion. It's the same thing. So,
Weird.
and in a lot of countries over there. So and every country has its different history of the accordion, but I'm trying to make it a thing. And with what it is capable on this instrument, so many people don't realize it. You are one of the few people that saw what I did and was like, oh my God, wait a minute, we could do a billion things together.
Yeah.
And that's what I try to get more people to understand. That you don't need to be on the computer on Logic and play. No, just have me play the stuff and I can do it. Especially if we hook this up to a computer. There's nothing this can't do.
All right.
So
That's cool. That's cool, man. So like that now. Speaking of the accordion, tell us about this wacky thing.
Tell us about this particular argument.
Yeah.
So, electric accordions have technically been around since the late 50s, early 60s. When the decline of accordions started, they're like, we better make this electric because the guitar's going electric. We got to follow that. But the bellows didn't work. And actually, the first, funny enough, where you're from, right near where you're from, if you remember Stoneham, Massachusetts.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. The first electronic accordion that used bellows was designed by a guy named Ray Cavicchio, who I was just with last week. He's a legend. He was an MIT engineer. And he created an accordion with bellows that he put a laser, this is an engineer for you, he put a laser on a woman's diaphragm. And yes, and he has the first one.
Well, how about
and it works perfectly. And as you push the air, it vibrates the air pressure sensor on it, and it works brilliantly. And him and one other engineer designed a couple of these, and they're still around. I just did a video with them. They
Just
still work
another
brilliantly.
use for a diaphragm.
Yes, exactly. It was the first electric accordions that the bellows actually worked. So they've been around for, this is fully MIDI. It's completely MIDI. So again, you could hook it up to a computer. But there's an air pressure sensor that senses how much I push the bellows. And it feels pretty much like the real thing. I mean, it's like cars. Sure, a Land Rover and a Ferrari feel different, but they're still cars. You jump in, you change how you drive, and the tension of the brakes and everything. It'd be fine in 2 seconds. So that's kind of the same idea. But it plays the same. And if people want to know how the left hand works on an accordion, we'd need more time. But it is basically based on the line of fourths and fifths. I don't call it a circle. I think that's so stupid to call it a circle. It's not a circle. It goes on forever, and the accordion is designed as such. And so you have C here in the middle, and then you go G, D, A, E, or in the other way C, F, B flat, E flat, A flat, and so on. And it goes on. And then you have chords, major, minor, seven, diminished, this was designed to get rid of stride piano, because we all know stride piano is very difficult. So this system was designed to go, instead of do tick, do tick, 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 you can just go. So that's how it was designed, but you can do a lot more than just do that. And yeah, the electric version lets you play whatever you want.
It's awesome, man. Awesome. It's cool stuff. Yeah, I can't wait till we get all of this stuff wrapped up and release it. I'd written some wacky fusion stuff, and
Yes.
I was trying to kind of do something different with it. And so right away I went,
Accordion.
Cory played some wacky stuff with me, and so that's we're working on that. And then there's another tune too that I'm doing with Cory playing on it, and things kind of just went on the back burner for a minute because I was really busy with a bunch of other stuff. So now we're going to revisit it, and hopefully we get that released soon so everybody can check it out. But I really like, meeting people like Cory and the different instruments, and the diversity is huge. I mean, I hope to get another buddy of mine up here soon. He's on the invented the guitar violin, and
Wow.
and I got one of his one of his almost first ones, I think. I don't know, but it's awesome, and so a lot of cool cats, and cool different things, and
Weird instruments. And weird instruments, yeah.
and weird instruments. Yeah, I have a lot of weird stuff in the studio. Just oddball instruments, and people going, "What's that? What's that?" I get this one from China. I can't even pronounce what the hell it is. I thought it was gonna be easy to play because I was at a NAMM show, and it was a Chinese company. Obviously, it was China, and so this girl was playing this thing, and like, oh, I can do that. So, and
Such a Sean thing to say.
yeah, and,
No problem.
so she didn't speak English. I didn't speak Chinese, so that was interesting. And I walked out of the place with it. They just gave it to me, and
You always have these stories at NAMM.
it's pretty
Like
crazy.
walking out with an organ. I'm like, I didn't get a free chord, and you got an instrument.
It was like my grand
Sean
piano.
for you.
Yeah, that is Sean Clement. Walking out with a truckload. Sir, are you stealing that? No.
No,
They gave it all to me.
No, it's kind of funny too because like a lot of guys, they'll follow me around now, thinking they're gonna get some gear too. And I'm always like dude, just find your own path, man. You know,
You're the ringleader.
you know.
I'm lucky to walk out with the orange bag that everyone has. Yeah.
Want the free stuff? Follow Sean.
But it's amazing. I happens that kind of stuff happens a lot, and so it's just Broad's ideas, and then so I kept thinking, what else can we do to this accordion? Because now it's electric, right? Run it through some effects. Yeah, maybe I'm gonna get them in a distortion box through a Marshall stack. That'd be great.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That'd be fun. You know, rock out, man. You know, that's the thing about Cory too. That's kind of funny. He's not a rocker guy. You know,
I play it, but it's not my main genre.
But
What's your main genre that you?
I mean,
play?
I'm more known for jazz, okay, but I play more Italian and klezmer music than anything. And behind those would probably be French and tango. But I grew up playing classical and played with symphonies and things, play classical music. But then, I love playing funk and fusion. But also, I love to play with Eastern European musicians at all 7/8, 13/8, 11, which you write stuff like that and you don't even know it. I'm like, Sean, there's like a measure of 13 in here. Like, I don't know. It's like, I love playing everything. I mean, it's not a
this
genre.
This guy plays nonstop. He's always working, always playing. Every time I talk to him, or I just did this gig, this is that gig. I'm over here, I'm flying over here, and like it's like, who would have thunk? I never think an accordion player would have that kind of business, but I guess
there's not many top accordion players.
Yeah.
So.
What's your favorite gig you've ever done?
My favorite gig I've ever done. I mean, actually, coming up will be fun. I'm on the That's My Jam with Jimmy Fallon.
Oh wow!
In a couple of weeks,
that's
on
cool.
January 31st, 2022.
Watch it, everyone.
And I did Let's Make a Deal last year with Wayne Brady. That was a lot of
That's
fun.
cool.
So we actually got to play on that. I played on it, and I won something, so that was cool.
there you go, you got something.
Yeah, actually won
What'd you
something.
win?
An electric bike. Although it never came because of COVID. Somehow COVID screwed up the shipping. I'm not sure how. So that was a separate thing. But yeah, I did win on the show. But I don't know what is my favorite. I played with the Boston Symphony and the Boston Pops under John Williams. That was cool. John Williams, I mean, of course, that's not a legend. But I don't know, maybe the last championship I won, that was on national TV in Finland, because actually they do that in Finland, where the World Accordion Championships are actually on national television. You know, I don't see that in America anytime soon. Tonight, after American Idol, the World Accordion Championships. Tonight on Fox. Like, that's just not going to happen. But it happens in Finland. So that was awesome. I had a whole band, and I wrote all the arrangements for the band. We had fun on there. But there's so many different gigs, though, that I've done. It's tough to, I'd almost have to pick a genre.
Right.
I mean, there was a klezmer wedding where I think we did 1 hour straight of fast music at this tempo, and of course everybody else takes a break. Clarinet player, trombone player. I can't take a break. I'm playing the bass, everything else. Endurance test. The Guinness World Record would not be a favorite because that was 32 hours long. I wouldn't recommend playing 32 hours.
32 hours
32
long?
hours.
How'd you even do that?
Well, because I had to. Red Bull spent a lot of money to create it, so I said I'm not failing on them.
Wow.
So
What was the record?
The record was just 45 minutes before that. I could have gone longer, but I didn't want to chance
the
it.
record was played for a amount of time?
Right, it's a marathon record. They categorize it as a marathon record. The accordion wasn't too bad, although it's a more physical instrument, like piano, where you don't have to carry anything. That was like 110 hours, I think the record is. Different drumming is. See, drumming, you could literally just have like 2 sticks and do this. So that was like 130 hours, I think, is something crazy. But the harp was 30 hours. The accordion was 31 hours.
Wow.
I didn't want to break it by much because most people that break a Guinness World Record like that, that's not their career. They just do it on the side and they want to break it. This is my career, and I had a huge concert in L.A. We did this in Austria. And I had a concert a week later at Bogey's in Westlake the next week. So I couldn't ruin my hands. So I said, let's just break the record and then we'll time it and then and that'll be that. So we had it where someone had a champagne bottle because it has to do with motorsports at Red Bull. So they sprayed like in racing on the glass. That was kind of neat. But that would not be a favorite gig. Obviously, I don't know. Yeah, there's so many random. I mean, I played the White House. One of my first gigs was at
Really?
the White House. It's hard to beat
Wow.
that.
When did you do that?
I was 10, 11, 12.
Oh,
I was
my
doing
goodness.
that. Yeah, I didn't really get nervous because I didn't know what I was walking into necessarily. She was like, the White House. Oh, yeah, the White House.
It's white.
Yeah,
Did you go to school to study music and to study the accordion?
Went to New England Conservatory of Music. They don't have accordion there, but they allowed me to go as an accordion player. Where Berkeley laughed. They're just like, we don't have accordion here. You can't come here on accordion. So I got in there on clarinet, but I'm not that great of a clarinet player. I mean, I can play, but I'm not this. So NEC was like, yeah, accordion, that's unique. We'll do that in our contemporary department. Gunther Schuller, I don't know if you remember Gunther Schuller. He was the head of, he created the CI, the contemporary department there. So that's how they allowed a weird instrument like an accordion to go there. But yeah, most other places were like accordion. No, you can't do that. There's very few places in the world that you can truly study accordion. But in North America, really only the University of Toronto has an official program. I've been trying to get one in the U.S. forever, and they're always like, no, not accordion, not yet, not yet. It's like, well.
So how exactly do you two know each other?
We're
What's
trying
the
to figure
history
that
of
out.
Yeah, I know we're trying to.
We're
NAMM
trying to figure that
show,
out.
definitely NAMM show.
We definitely met through a mutual friend, friend Paul Sarney.
From
Drum-
Massachusetts as well.
Yeah, he's from there, and incredible drummer, interesting cat, you know. And that's how I met Cory, because he kept saying, you got to check this guy out, man. It's not like, he's like thinking accordion, right?
That's the problem.
And-
People hear accordion, like, oh god.
When he plays like Chick Corea on that thing, it's insane. I've never seen anybody do it, you know. And there's this, at the local grocery store over here, Vaughn's, there's this guy that plays accordion. Well, like you, and every time I see him, he's got this little thing out for money, and it's like, I go, Cory, this is a gig you don't have.
Playing at Bonds.
You can play it
See
on
me at
Monday,
Bonds,
man.
3 to
jealous.
7 every weekday.
Need to buy bacon for my breakfast. You know,
Well, if it weren't for COVID, I would have recorded with Frank Gambale last Friday. We were gonna do a tune together. And,
Right on.
He couldn't come in because they canceled the concert at the Lincoln Center, and so he's in Spain now. I figures I meet him at NAMM when he's moving to Spain. I'm like, why didn't I meet you 10 years ago? But
Murphy's Law, man.
I know he's a very cool cat though, so I'm just glad to know him.
I've known Frank for a long, long time. I haven't talked to him in a while, but and then
He's Italian.
Yeah. Gambale. And
Yeah, from Australia.
and that, I think it's one of his ex-wives. She looked like a little elf. And she plays the harp. She usually does this gig every year at an event I used to go to. And interesting stuff. But I mean,
Known him a while.
these hiccups suck.
He's like, oh yeah, great timing on the hiccups. I know.
I had this weird. I bounced around all this kind of weird stuff. Like I had to go to a doctor's appointment, and he's talking about odd times, right?
Mm-hmm.
Odd time services and stuff.
Yeah. 22/8 is the weirdest stuff.
So the doctor goes, your heart skips. I'm like, let me hear. So can I hear it? Because they have these machines they put on your
Yeah.
shit. It beats in 7/4. My heart beats in 7/4. Weird. Perfect for me.
What does that exactly mean?
It's a time signature. It's not 4/4 like it's in regular music. It's just
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting.
And so mine's on 7/4. I'm like, all right, that's cool. Nothing you can do about it.
That would be
I'm a
fitting for
proud
you.
guy, you know.
That's some good stuff in 7/4.
Yeah.
Another unique thing about you.
Huh?
I said another unique thing about you.
Yes. Cory did play here one time at an event we had for NARIP. Remember that? That's when you got to meet Jack Douglas. And
Oh, that that event. Yep.
try to get these guys together. I mean, Jack did say, like, oh, yeah, I got some ideas, but that was an idea 4 years ago, so I don't know what happened. And but that's what I really like doing with people, too, is, like, really good at connecting people together and, like, and getting them in situations.
You know everybody.
Yeah.
You're a magnet at the NAMM show. You're just trying to walk to another booth and all these people. I said, who are these people?
I remember one time at NAMM, this was funny. My good friend Carl Jacobson, he was a marketing dude for Cakewalk. That's a software that I always use.
Yeah. Okay.
And I started getting all my Klinger on friends because they weren't going to go out to dinner. Well, you know what? We got like 15 dudes. And he goes, I can't feed 15 people, man. They'll kill me. I mean, because, it all comes out of their budget and stuff.
Right,
But,
right.
So I'd have to, like, go, you guys, what are you doing? You're not getting free food out of me. But I have a couple of friends that, like, really, they just will cling. They will cling. And thinking that guitar amp's going to them too. Yeah. It's like, no.
Well, if you pick up an accordion, then I hope I can get that one. Yeah. No, you'll try to play it, actually. No, forget that. You'll try to play it. And then call me halfway through learning. I said, why didn't you call me when you started learning it?
Yeah, but one of the tricks to get endorsements is when you got to really know how to talk. And con these people and giving you free stuff. But
don't tell the public this. This is private information.
Then they can all end up with a house that's like a museum of musical instruments like you.
Yeah, this place is a museum for sure. But
Con.
I remember a long time ago, and you also, career-wise endorsements can be very helpful, not just because you get stuff. But you meet people, you play, you work, you go to these conventions. You don't know who's going to walk by and go, wow, I want to hang with this dude or do that.
Who did you have endorsements with?
A lot.
It's a lot.
Like who?
Less.
Just tell me.
Yeah, there's
Marshall,
one.
Gibson, BC Rich. Yamaha I've been with for like 27 years. EMU, DBX, Lexicon, lots of guitar endorsements. Even computers.
Oh, wow.
I remember I got offered to do a gig. They were coming out with the brand new i7 chip that goes in computers. So
Right.
it's like they smoking fast. So what they had me do was, because I'm the guy that can break anything. Like if you're gonna find the bugs,
It's going to be you.
give it to me and I'll find it that day. So they always have me test that out first and then break it. So they there's two computer gigs that I did. First was the first multi-core 64-bit computer. So they had me, they wanted me to score this big crazy thing, only using the computer. None of my studio, none of my outboard gear, make it all happen. And it didn't work. The thing kept breaking and crashing. And eventually, they got it right. So I got to keep it. That was part of my deal. And get a ton of money. And so then the next one I did, and that was like Microsoft. It was a deal with Microsoft and Gagwalk. They were doing a lot of stuff together, really breaking boundaries and stuff. So the next one was through Intel, and that was on the i7. So this big convention up in San Francisco, and the gig is they wanted me to do a whole remix of this song by a girl named Cory Pesaturo. And it was cool. I mean, I had some challenges because of, again, it really didn't work at the beginning, and now it's smoking hot. But that was fun. That was a few years ago. So you never know where endorsements go. And I think that computer was like $25,000 computer.
Oh, my God.
And the sister of the other computer ran the Beatles Love Show. So it's how powerful these things can be. And so, yeah, you never know. I mean, I had endorsement with sneakers for a while.
Did you get?
I was going to joke about that about your sticks. You actually did have. I should have said that now. I'm so pissed I didn't say that.
Did you get the grand piano down in the main house as an endorsement or no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who was that one from?
Well, it's my Yamaha C7X. And at that time, Yamaha had just bought out Bosendorfer.
Oh.
So they were trying to combine the technologies. So I went to the Snap show. I wasn't really going to go. I was having some situations going on. Said, no, you're going to go, and whatever, right? So I nobody knew I knew how to play piano. No one. I'm always known as a guitar player.
I didn't even know.
And so I went and I shit you not, I played for like 5 minutes. And so the A&R guy at that point, some young dude I'd never met, because Yamaha tends to switch a lot of artist relations people often. At least that's how it seems. So this young dude comes up and goes, so what do you think? I said, it's great. You want it? I'm like, yeah.
That's a good one.
That's how easy.
I thought you said there's a whole system to conning them. You just said, yeah?
Yeah. That's pretty easy.
Conning.
Well,
Did you bribe them? What's going on?
apparently he liked what I was playing, and I was already endorsee with Yamaha through my
Right.
guitar as a pro
Right.
audio.
Right.
On their website, and their catalogs and all that. So we kind of already, I didn't have to do the spiel I'm working on this show, that show, this guy, whatever. It was just that it took me a few minutes. And so here's the rest of the story. So I think I had the thing for like one day. And I got a call from Adele's people, and
Oh, yeah, I remember this.
and they said she wants to use it on her song Hello. I said, what about me? She can use me too. I'm usable, but
That's a song.
so they pay me a bunch of money just to come up to my house, pull the thing out, bring it all the way down to Ocean Way, and then bring it all the way back, do it again, because once you move a piano, it's screwed. And I got all my, my documentation on it and all that. I'm like going, great, and I should have been playing on that. Yeah. But hey,
the piano part was not hard on that song.
no, but she has her guy, Patrick Leonard, and that's her dude. That's fine.
But that piano's the piano on the record, man.
That's it.
How come of all the pianos I wanted that piano?
The piano's beautiful, and they only gave a few of those away. They gave one to Herbie, one to Chick, Elton John,
And
me,
some guy named Sean.
and then I forget who the fifth guy was. I'm like going, how the hell did they pull this one off? But it did, and but with the whole endorsement thing is, you do have to drop your credits. You have to say, like I remember when I was doing Buffy the Vampire Slayer eons ago, 97 actually, and so the hot synthesizer out there at the time, sampler, was the Emulator 4. But I got two of them sitting over there still. They're ancient, and but that was like, oh my god, everybody had to have one. So and they were going like $5-6 grand a pop.
Back
And
then.
then you got to get all the sounds and all that. So I walked into, this is great. I'm at the booth, and the artist relationship was this woman, I can't remember her name, but I say, hey, I want to talk, ask for your artist relations program. She goes, well, we don't really do that. We can maybe talk about artist pricing. And I'm like, I don't hear artist pricing. I hear free.
She said, I don't do that.
And
Free or no deal.
so she says, well, what are you working on? And again, like I ended up with, in total, I had 8 of them.
Wow.
And she goes, what show you working on? I said, well, I'm doing the show Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Oh my God. It's my daughter's favorite show. What do you need? Just
That's
like
just
that.
your luck with that
I'm
stuff.
like going, what fairy dust did I just sprinkle on this woman? So all she wanted is get an autographed picture from Sarah to her daughter. I'm like, okay. And so
Done.
and then I got them. They gave me all the sound libraries, everything, and then I ended up selling all of them except for 2. Because I like to have different types of keyboards and
Right.
stuff. This happened with Akai. I was endorsing Akai. Got a couple S6000s out of them, and
What's your favorite thing you have up here down in the main house that you got through an endorsement?
just from an endorsement, that would be my piano.
Yeah.
Yeah. As far as favorite instruments, I don't have one. Well, that's not true. My favorite guitar is this 1960 Dan Electro, and nobody understands why it's my favorite guitar. I mean, when I came out here, I was doing a lot of sessions, and I show up with this thing. They're going, looks like a toy. I used to see some flashy guitar, the Whammy bar, and all that crap. Trust me, intonation sucks. It's made so badly. It's like, I don't know what kind of wood. It's not real wood, and the binding is actually masking tape. And I mean, these are cheap guitars.
This is your favorite guitar now.
And it's a lipstick tube pickup because it's actually a lipstick tube. They stick together.
So
And
a
like-
child made this, or?
Well, Dan Electro was
Arts and crafts.
Yeah, I know.
you're talking late 50s and early 60s. They were cool. There's a lot of weird guitars from that period, and then I have like 3 of them now, and I love them. And I'm a big Jimmy Page freak,
Right.
and that's how I got hooked into it. I said I always have to have one of these. But I pulled it out of the case, and they looked at me like I got 6 heads. I said, "Trust me, plug it in. Here we go. I'm done." And leave. And that's another thing. I'm bouncing around. A lot of times, I got known for being able to work extremely fast,
Yeah, right.
stupid fast. And I was the same way when I was doing sessions. I was one take guy. That was it.
Wow.
Because I want to get my money and get out. I want to be. I mean, it's a monetization of it.
Whitney Houston over here in one take.
I mean, I did this one gig. It was the weirdest thing. They wanted me to double my part, and so I played the first one. I said, "Okay, that's fine. It's great. Okay, double it." I said, "Okay, I don't need to hear it back." So I didn't hear my original at all. I just did it, and it was exact.
Wow.
And then, so I got called to do a lot of that kind of stuff. Just weird stuff,
Well, One take, Sean.
But
Your mind is a crazy place to be.
it's pretty dangerous, actually.
Yeah, I was gonna say dangerous. I love that.
But you know, but that's one thing like I learned in the business is like you really just do your job. You know, I prefer to work really fast because you get more gigs. You know, I'd be running 6, 7, 8 TV shows at a time.
How do you even handle all that though, and remember
Yeah, how do you
which
remember
show
what
is
the hell-
which and all that, and deadlines, and it's a lot.
Yeah, I don't think I can do it anymore. But I mean, you know,
20-hour days.
20-hour days, 7 days a week, like it was a good run. And but you know, you get burnt out. You know, you kind of like need vacations and stuff. You know, but
And you need your brain to think of new ideas.
that's the thing. I've never had writer's block. You know, when I'm working on a film or TV show or something like that, there's deadlines. So you just got to get it done, and that's it. Simple as that. Just put the show on and off to the races. Where I do procrastinate a lot is when I'm doing my own records,
Oh, of course, yeah.
because there's no
You're wrong.
deadline. There's no deadline. There's no nothing, and like I'm off onto something else. Oh, I know. I'll go look at the dog. Or I got it's like I cannot stay on that timeline with my own song. Even though I own songs, though, I tend to write them fast. Like when I used to teach privately, while I'm teaching a kid how to play a G chord or whatever, I'm writing a song. So by the time we get out of the lesson, I got a new tune, and Johnny Jr. can play a G chord.
Multitasker.
Yeah, and that was a cool thing too. Growing up in a music store, my dad still has a shop. He's been in business a long, long, long time, and you just meet all kinds of walks of life. I mean, some of them are batshit crazy, and what's funny is this happens all the time. All these weird people come to my dad's shop, and then he'll call me and said, "Hey, do you ever remember a blah blah blah?" I said, "Dad, I haven't lived there in 27 years. No, this is somebody that came after." And then he gives them all my phone numbers.
Oh, no.
Oh, great.
And I get all these weird calls. And like that, I don't give out my phone number. I don't. I mean, unless it's...
I don't even have your phone.
Yeah, there you go. But I'm like going, and he keeps doing it. And there's some funny stories though. Like, there's always these strange girls that call me. And
No surprise there.
I told my dad, "You stop, man." and then some dudes do that. Just won't. They'll call you at the weirdest times at night, And I mean, it's 2:00 in the morning. I don't want to talk to some dude, But being around those circles, I had a really good shot at being a musician because I was around it. I mean, since I was a kid. We're going even before I was still in the fetus mode. All these different people would work at the store, and then some of these guys became famous, and so I was always around music constantly. But I didn't like playing in bands. Hated it.
Yeah, that's never really been a thing of your career.
No, I don't like. I don't like playing live. I mean, just to get me to play one of my own parties is like pulling teeth. I prefer to be locked in a studio, just doing media music. I guess I don't like calling it media music because they film it. I guess
When's the last time you performed live?
1999.
What was that for?
But no. Was it? It might have been just after it turned 2000.
And what was that for?
A funeral.
It's the most Sean moment ever.
Kind of talk about a waiting.
Yeah. What concert was that? Funeral.
The funeral.
I was up in the back in the pews, yeah.
Yeah.
Playing electric guitar. Ave Maria.
It was for a guy that I was in my.
We should have this out.
Yeah.
That'd be funny, man. But no, what this friend of mine, he was in a band with me. Johnny, we call him Gash. That's his nickname. Now, I can say a lot more on this than I can on a radio. The reason why he was called Gash.
Please fast forward if you're under the age of 18. Okay, right?
I know. I thought.
So I guess he was when he was 20 years old. I didn't know him. He was from New York. He climbed an electrical tower. I got arced and basically burnt his body up. So I thought that's why he was called Gash. No. He got the nickname from Steve Vai, and he was. I guess he was over at Steve's, and Johnny would show up with a new girl and say, "This is my new Gash." That's
How nice.
so if you look at these Steve Vai records, you'll say thanks to Gash. It's
That's
the
terrible.
fucking funniest shit I've ever heard. And so
It's funny.
and it's just so weird, man. But like my mom go, who is this Gash guy? I'm like, Mom, if you ever knew what it meant, you wouldn't like Johnny anymore. Yeah, but Johnny was a good guy. But anyway, what happened is he always had Harley. He would do all these stunts on the thing, and he was crazy. So I guess he was living in Hermosa Beach, and when you get to that beach, you go back up. It was a very steep incline. So I guess he dropped off his Gash to go get ready to go to dinner. He's going up the hill. The thing.
A lovely word.
Is this going to be in the Oxford Dictionary here?
Or Urban Dictionary.
Yeah, no, we got to upgrade it to the actual official Oxford.
And so I guess his bike kicked us up again, flipped over, and crushed his head. That was it. So it was like shocking. He was only 40 years old. And so they did this funeral, and then they had a party after, like big band and all the whole thing. So I didn't go to the service part. I just did the party part.
Okay.
And,
so not Ave Maria on the electric guitar. Okay.
No. But Steve I played. I forget who else played. It was fun.
You play with Steve Vai and like, that's it. I've hit the top of the mountain. I'm good. I'm retiring.
And that was it. I never did a live gig again. Like, never.
So I have to hire you now for a gig. That's
Well, yeah. I just lived in my studio all the time. That's all I did. I didn't do any more guitar sessions anymore. Nothing. I was just purely a composer. And, play all my instruments here, and no one has to know. And well, I have to know because they send me a check. Where was I going with all this? See, this is what happens. I babble. I just ramble on. Screw Cory. He's not really here anyway. And
basically, people that sing in the shower and sing in their car alone is the microcosm of your career.
pretty much, yeah. I didn't get off on it playing live. I just don't get it. I don't get that. People get that energy and all that. I'm like, and I have massive stage fright. I never got over it. And every gig was like the first gig I ever played. And I'm like, I ain't taking that.
That's why my dad never played. He the one gig he was ever going to do, he played for his talent show, and they opened up the curtains, and he was like this.
Yeah.
And he said the superintendent was at the back going,
right.
and he went, and that was it. That was the end of his performance career.
But I
Sealed the
I
deal.
feel
Yeah.
it. I feel that. I mean, I'm in sync. I'm totally in sync with that. What was I gonna say?
But then when you just start playing down there and you're just in your own world and it's beautiful. So
Thank you. But I think I played it one part. The last part I played a little bit. Or was the one before?
yeah.
Can't remember.
Yeah, I think the Christmas party.
Because I won't. Let's have his friend named Ant. We should get him on the show. Although it'll be a 5-hour broadcast. You think I can talk? But he was always trying to get me to jam with him. Like, so he did. And he's a cool dude. He's a really cool dude, and he's funny. And so I was trying to play tame, and he kind of busted my nuts a little. They say, "Can't you play something like out there?" I'm like, "Oh, you want to get out? I can get way out."
Yeah.
And I did. And he had a hard time following along. He's like, "Oh no, he's going to get," but we still did. But I really don't do that, so I don't know.
I know, and I would love to hear you play because the stuff you come up with is totally nuts, but it does make sense. It's not like some completely out there stuff. But then when I ask you, well, how did you think of this chord to this chord and then do this, and you're like, no.
I don't think.
So it's like I want to hear you play to try to connect the dots of what you compose and what your brain's thinking of.
Yeah, I don't think
Help
about
me out.
writing.
Yeah, because I'm very analytical in how I'll take Stravinsky apart. Okay, yeah, and then or Keith Jarrett or Chick or anybody or Tchaikovsky. I understand it. But then with you, I'm like, well, but why did I don't know.
I think that one song chapters you go keep going, and then you go to that F. If you remember that, something about one part of that song, and you're like, why'd you do that? And I said, I don't know. Sounded good to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think, like when I'm writing, I don't think about harmonically. I don't think about anything. It's just I think that's the key to writing. If you overthink it.
Yeah, there is a balance.
Yeah,
There is
I mean,
a
because
balance.
I just don't. I get an idea in my head, and I go, okay, and get it going, and then think, and it's done. And then, strange. But, because if I actually had to think about it, I'd be sitting in this room for 3 days in a row going, I have no idea what to write,
So
Like I said before, never get writer's block.
Remember the other day you were telling me that funny story how you got snowed in and you
Oh.
you
The
came
last
with a
thing,
record.
the last thing I recorded when I left Boston, this guy was building a new studio in Sudbury, Mass. Is it Sudbury or Southbury?
Sudbury.
Sudbury.
What year is this?
This, Jesus, when did I leave?
I know Snowstorm so well. I can't pick
It
out
was
the
93.
snowstorm.
It was 93.
Oh, yeah. That was a big snow year.
And so we didn't even have a bathroom, right? So there's just a hole in the ground, and all we had to eat was like Cheetos.
Sure, this is 1993, not 1893.
Well, they were still kind of building it, right? And what's his name? Paul Hagar was engineering, and the thing about Paul, it's always funny. Every time he gets a new piece of gear, he has to overuse it. I don't know if he still does, but he's done a lot of great stuff. Cool dude. I'm friends with him and his brother. And so we're all the band, and him and my other buddy that I think he actually owned the studio. I'm not sure. We're snowed in. We couldn't open the door.
So you said it was like a sheet of
Like a sheet of
of
wall. Open the door, and it's like, what do we do now?
or trap.
And I didn't have a cell phone. I didn't get a cell phone until much later than that. And so I just said, screw it. Just write another song. So we just stayed there, kept recording. So blink, blink, blink.
3 days straight.
And eventually someone dug us out. And I was really excited the fact that I was never going to have to see that again because I was going to California. I don't like snow.
I
it looks
live
good.
for snow.
It looks good, but then it freezes.
Ugh,
And,
it's so cold.
I love it.
but yeah, that was wild. But that was the kind of stuff I would do. I mean, I used to write really quick. I was like, "Hey guys, give me a few minutes," and that was it.
Do
And
you think melody first and then, or
it's different every time.
that's so interesting. Most people have melody then chords, or I'm a chord guy, so I think chords almost then melody. But
Right? Yeah.
it's different.
Yeah. No, it's just I tend to write like, especially with film scoring. When I write it, I'm already orchestrating it at the same time. So I don't write out a sketch and then fill it up.
So he's Mozart. Okay.
No,
The whole thing is done instantly. Yeah.
Well, plus there's no time when you're on some of these deadlines.
Right.
I did this one gig for Dick Clark. Only time I've ever worked for that company, and I had to come up with 90 minutes in 3 days. Written,
90 minutes.
written and recorded out the door.
That seems impossible. That is impossible. Well,
And
it's
his-
not, but
This was a nightmare of a gig, and oh god, it was right during the holiday season. So, and they
Dick
could.
Clark's Rockin' Eve, the New Year's Rockin' Eve. Yeah.
Well, wasn't that? It was some stupid award show they came up with, the TV Guide Awards. And,
TV Guide Awards.
and
Remember that?
and George Lopez was hosting it. They only did one because it was tanked. It was stupid, and so they couldn't lock the picture. So they kept editing it, and editing it's like going, guys, we get days away from this thing airing. So, and I got no time, and so a friend of mine, I hired him to basically conform everything and be a music editor. So he sat over here, I sat over there, and a new tape would show up about every 2 to 3 hours. It was insane. I'll recut, have to fix this, change. So he would sit here pulling his hair out of his head. I'm sitting here just playing and writing my stuff. And the executive in charge of production was a total asshole. And well, it's YouTube. And but he was being like I'm like, dude, you give me no time, man. You hired me 2 months ago, and now was Christmas, and now you're dropping this unedited show. So Mike and I lived in this room. Men can bond in that way, I guess. And he was always afraid because he goes, my wife's going to divorce me, man. I said, no, she's not. You're getting a big fat check, so you'll be happy. And because I charged him a lot, because that was an insane gig.
Yeah.
And so then they were trying to screw me on the contract. Because I want to do all these sound alikes. Because when they show a TV show, they want to have the theme of the TV show. Only they don't want to go license it. So it be a knockoff. And like, I don't like doing knockoffs because the other one gets sued, not the collection company. if it's too close. And the irony of this, some of the shows Dick Clark produced, so you already got the rights. And whatever. So doing all these knockoffs, a lot of work. And then there was a problem with the contract because it's like, look, I'm not taking the hit. You are. If you get sued, or I'm gonna walk, and you guys are screwed. And so I eventually got what I wanted, but the guy got so mad at me. He called me up and called me the C. We all know what the C is. Because that one I think I'll get in trouble for saying on YouTube.
Yeah, I remember.
See you next Tuesday.
Yeah, 7 words you can't say. Yeah, George Carlin. Yeah, those are one of them.
Yeah, and so I just hung up the phone. He calls me back, and I go, "Would you call me again?" And I said, you know what? I'm just gonna walk right now, and good luck. So then he's freaking out. So he's calling my wife at the time because she was my lawyer, and trying to, And so this was day 3, and that was it. So I mean, and I was fried. And this guy was just a total jerk. And I remember I was sitting here one day. I said, I wish an earthquake hit right now. It brought that building into the hole, and we had a little earthquake right after I said it.
God almighty,
You have
Sean.
yeah.
I'm like going, wow. And my friend Mike, who was working, goes, dude, how did that happen? I said, I got power, I guess. I don't know. But that gig,
Sean the Almighty.
yeah. I was so happy to get off that gig, and
I don't know how you did 90 minutes of music in 3. I mean, if you gave me a year, that would be a challenge for 90 minutes of music.
it was nonstop.
I mean,
for
a
me.
symphony, it took even top composers how long, but 90 minutes.
And that's written, recorded, produced, done. And I was on fire. I could work really, really fast. But where was I going with that story? I don't know. But talk about every style of music, because all these TV shows have their own unique things. And they were going to show the theme, and then George Lopez comes on and tries to be funny, and that's it. So everything, you name it, I had to write it. And I don't like doing knockoffs, but I mean, I probably made about in that 3 days, I think I made about $60,000.
Pretty good.
And then you get royalties and stuff, so it's not bad for 3 days. That's how I looked at it. Anyway.
Right.
But yeah, it's a wacky business. And one thing I enjoy too is when I do get players in here to record, because I'm really good at getting performances out of people. For some reason, I just know how to do it. Really get them.
Well, you have that look of like, good. I don't know, something about the look.
Yeah, and
The Sean.
The Sean look. It's like smirky and smiley. Just the right amount of judgmental. It's like, I'm not gonna judge you. I'm not gonna kill you if you suck, but I'm gonna judge a little bit. Just the right amount.
I did one. I forget what it was like. It was a movie called Havoc, and I did a track for it. And so they wanted this kind of Arturo Sandoval thing.
Oh yeah.
And so I go, but was very electronic, very strange music, and
As if Arturo Sandoval was in a computer.
yeah, So I call Paul Sarni. I said, "Hey, do you know anybody?" He goes, "Let me put you in touch with my friend. I can't remember his name." So I call. He goes, "I said, yeah, this kid's out of Cuba. He doesn't speak English, but he's what you want." I said, "Good." So he shows up here, and I don't know how I communicated with him, but I did. It's all like
the Chinese girl with the instrument.
Right.
Yeah.
And then while we're doing this, a fire happens right here, and he's looking like forest fire, and so he keeps looking at the door, and helicopters are buzzing around, and fire engines over there, and I'm like, "Oh, it's cool, man."
No problem. It's just California.
Meanwhile, most people be freaking out. I'm like, "It's Hollywood movie."
Special effects.
Yeah.
You told them they're filming a movie. The neighbor's house is burning down.
Yeah.
It's a movie.
So he was so petrified. His little flames everywhere. It was nuts. And so we wrapped it up. I shut everything down. My wife was already packing up trailers and stuff. And so
And you're still recording.
I just knocked it
No
out.
big deal.
And
Just
like,
another day.
kind of weird. I just do that. I used to do things like that. I still do, but I mean, I don't. That stuff doesn't bother me. But you got to think the deadline's always the deadline. I said similar thing happened to me. I did this pilot called the Pap Tits. It was Sacha Baron Cohen, or whatever his name is. He wrote it. He was trying to do this TV show. It was actually really, really funny. It didn't get picked up, but and I had to keep delaying starting the gig because I had just booked this trip to Hawaii, and then they gave me the gig, and it would have to be the exact same time I'm in Hawaii. And I said, well, I'm not canceling my vacation because I rarely go on vacations.
Yeah.
So I talked to them to allow me to start after I get back. It's okay. It's a sitcom. It's like a 30-minute. I'll get it done in a day. It doesn't matter. But so, well, that day came, and another fire, and a big one. And so I called my agent and I say, I mean, I got to evacuate. The police are coming up and down the street saying you got to evacuate. I got to go. So they're going to have to give me more time because, once the fire's over, I can go back in. He said, no, they're not going to give it to you because you already because you went to Hawaii. I'm like, this fucking business. And so I told my wife, I said, look, you move. I should have moved permanently at that time. But I'll meet you down there. I mean, I'm not wherever we're staying, and so, and I called to the producers, and they said, because you can see my house on one of the news feeds. I said, yeah, I'm in the central of it, yeah. Well, I hope your family's safe. I said, we're gonna burn down in about 10 minutes. What are you talking about? So I thought maybe I could plead with them to give me more time. Because, no, we really need that show, so you have to figure that out. I'm like, okay. So
you'd have to just peek outside and make sure you weren't about to die.
Play through the fire.
I was just leaving the doors open and stuff, and it was nuts. It was nuts. That's a big part of this business. These people they don't care. I mean, they don't.
No, deadline's the deadline.
Deadline's a deadline, and directors think they're God. And but so I just knocked it out, sent the files off, and then got in my car and went, hooked up with my wife. They loved it. They were like, "Wow, this is incredible." And what was interesting is the family in this TV show. It's kind of like the same thing that Cohen did with Borat and all that crap. Mm-hmm. But people didn't realize they were just fake. You know what I mean?
Yep. Until after.
but they're from India, so and they wanted this theme song. I don't speak Indian. I don't know any. I don't sing. I don't. What am I going to do? So, a friend of mine who I've been talking to lately, on my sing-on chapters, Robbie Whitecoff. This guy can sound like anybody. So he got me cracking up laughing. He comes up and he goes, "Okay, I think he can fade this out." So he's making up these words to sound like Indian, right? And
that would be a cultural appropriation today.
And it was pretty interesting because then the producers at Sony, they loved what I did, and they said, "How did you get someone to sing Indian?" I said, "He's not singing anything; it's gibberish." And then then they get all kind of like Leelish. Like, what if he does say something by accident? It's like a profanity or something. I'm like, I didn't think that far. I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna.
You got the show done and it's over. So we were cracking up laughing because he was coming up with these words. Sometimes it was so funny and off the wall. It's like, we're never gonna get this done, man. And but yeah, got that done. Never got picked up. It was actually a good show.
Do you still have that recording?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'd love to hear that.
Yeah.
I would love to hear that.
We did all. It was fun. But I mean, I like those parts of the business. Like when you're working, you come up with creative ways to get yourself out of a jam. And just all like funny stuff. Like how am I gonna get this sound? I'm gonna get this sound. I don't know. And I kind of got known a lot. We have some really bizarre things in my scores. I did this one thing. It was a title track for a film. And I literally took 2 choral sitars, they're electric sitars, and I used mallets on them. And then I borrowed, a neighbor of mine had this old beat up dulcimer. I can figure out how to tune it. So it's screw it. It's gonna be art. And so I'm playing the mallets on the sitars and then the dulcimer. And then I was using. What was I using? There was another weird thing I did. I have this one guitar that Yamaha built me, and it has like 4 different pickup systems in the guitar. So you could mess around and do a lot of strange stuff. So the track came out great, and one could figure out how I was getting all these sounds. I was using lap steel. It's not that kind of a song. I mean, it's not. But I like those kind of things. That's not just fun, those are things you can't really do live. If it don't work, you're screwed. So we got to get you back up here to play that thing.
There's so many little ditties, even the Indian music.
The suspense is killing me.
I could have played
but
some
it sounds
Indian
like
ragas while you were doing that.
they have to come back.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, me and Sean could talk for.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, quite some time. He's got stories. I don't know if you knew that.
I know stories upon stories upon stories.
There's a ton.
Yeah, you pick a rating. Yeah, PG-13, R. And see.
Well, I am kind of like what I another producer I did a cartoon series for. He was like the truck driver of composers.
Like the truck driver.
What is that? What does he mean by that?
Well, it's very hard for me to talk without swearing.
Oh, I get it.
I get creative with it too.
Yeah, you do.
And there's another guy that kind of beat me though. The "see you next Tuesday" word. This guy had every connotation of how to say it. It was hysterical, And then my other friend was there, and so this guy came up with one version of it that was so off the wall. The comedian said, "I'm taking that for my act."
Oh, that's funny.
And these were all celebrities, and I was like going, "Wow, this is funny stuff." But yeah, I'm bad. I'm really bad with that stuff. But so I've let it drop before. Like I did a radio show. I used to go on this radio show all the time, Sam Brown, and so one day I just said, fucking something, fuck, whatever, and they're all see them in the control. It's already out.
5-second delay.
I never got asked back. They're going.
No, probably not.
Shocker of shockers.
But and getting my point across, work with other musicians, and very much like I seems like I have the patience of anything. And I'm like, oh no, you almost got it. That's great. Meanwhile, I want to punch the dude in the head.
So you always have a positive vibe.
I do?
Yeah, you do. You always have, I think,
See?
I mean,
You can be
in the front,
positive.
maybe. Which is funny, because from New England, we're all extremely negative.
Big time.
On everything.
Big
but
time.
you have this, at least here, it's very...
Right. Because I'm
positive.
because I am
It's an
Captain
LA
Negative.
thing. Positivity
You're what?
cloaking the fake...
I am Captain Negative. I want to get a cape with a big negative sign.
Oh, I want a shirt that says negative vibes only and wear it all the time. In LA, it'd be great. That's what I would love to do. So sick
So
of the
the
positive
good-
vibes
the
crowd
good
here.
vibes
Oh my
only.
God.
What did my friend, my friend, Chris used to call it describing people from California, they're sun people or something like that, or their brain fried. He had this thing he used to say, and he was right. I mean, there's a lot of weird, aloof people out here. I've been here now, living here permanently, 29 years, and I don't get used to it. I'm still not used to it. People are weird out here. They're strange.
They are very weird out here, yes.
They're strange, man.
You can't believe more than half of what is said. That's for sure.
Yeah.
At least on the East Coast, it's like, why are you wearing that? It looks ugly. East Coast, like, oh my God, it looks so great. Why are you wearing that? Like what's nice is to be up front and more of an a-hole. That's what we think is nice.
Yeah.
Versus the whole world seeing you, we tell you up front. But here they just,
Fake.
Yeah, we don't do that in the East Coast. And then people come there, it's like, you guys are a whole bunch of a-holes. Like, no, we're not. We're just being
guys are
up front.
real.
We're just being up front with you. We're all, as someone said, I like driving in New England because you guys are all a-holes together, collectively.
Collectively.
Yeah, and it works. Where in LA, there's like some a-holes, some are too nice, and you got the Prius driver. Oh my God, wait a minute, the GPS is recalculating. Like we're just all a-holes together collectively, and it
works.
functions. Yeah.
You know what to expect.
Yeah. Well, New York's too much. They're just
You're gonna
like,
get.
I mean, that's too much.
Well,
but-
that's why they call it. That's why they call us massholes.
Yeah, well, I'm Rhode Island, but yes, you're a masshole, yes. If there's a term that we actually use that should be in the dictionary, masshole, yes.
That's funny.
They're not that bad of drivers. I don't think it's that bad. So,
Good.
not to talk about the East Coast, West Coast, but you're a prime example. You grew up there and lived here. And
But I've lived here most of my life. No, is that true? Yeah.
Well, you're only 37, so no. 29 years. No, that's wrong.
Where's your home base?
Rhode Island.
Okay.
From Rhode Island.
But you travel a lot during the year.
In a normal year, I travel 100,000 miles a year. That was like
Okay.
my average in a normal year, which the past 2 years have not been. But
Right.
hopefully,
Are
when
things opening back up and everything?
No, they're beyond. This is 2020 level. Everything's getting shut down. But I think as Omicron.
I'm hopeful.
Yeah, well, because everybody's
done with the mask.
Well, everybody's getting it, and no
I
one's
know.
really that sick. So I think, or most
Right,
people. So I
right.
think very soon it'll be like, oh, okay, everybody got it. Okay, let's go back, and then things might explode open, hopefully. And there's so many things I had in Europe planned for 2020 that still are just nowhere near getting back. So.
Will things get
know.
rescheduled and everything?
Yeah,
Hopefully.
well, hopefully. Then, things go so long that some festivals are like, they planned you for 2020, they reschedule for 2021, and then by 2022, they're like, well, we're just going to refresh it and
Right,
get all
right.
new artists. It's like,
What's going on with the Grammys now? Because I got
April.
postponed. Oh, is it the
April
date and
3rd
everything?
in Vegas.
In Vegas. That's what someone
Vegas.
told me. Because they said, like, something else is in Vegas. They did some big thing. Is it the Billboard or something? I don't know. She was
See, all I'm
telling
thinking
me.
of is being a racing guy. The Long Beach Grand Prix is a week after that, so I'll come in Vegas, and
wow.
then I'll go do some
Where,
stuff.
where in Vegas?
MGM. Yeah, Vegas. Perfect for a lot of these artists.
That would be great.
I mean, if
Lots of drinking.
If taking a selfie in the bathroom was a city, it would be Las Vegas, I think. it's perfect.
Yeah.
Is it still going to be like the same size and everything? Kind of still.
Yeah. Because I think the theater they're using, I've never been to that one, but it's huge. So it's probably going to be a heck of a lot of parties after
Yeah.
that Grammy.
Is it still going to be like the whole week? How usually?
Oh, that I don't know. That I don't know. I presume it's the.
Where was it supposed to be here?
It's always at the Staples Center,
Oh,
which
yeah,
they
yeah.
renamed it to the Crypto.com.
I know.
Center.
I'm like, what is
Oh
this?
my God!
I'm like, where are we going?
It's like renaming Fenway to, Home Depot Center, Park or something. Oh my God, Crypto.com.
I know. Why did they rename it? Do you
Well,
know?
because money.
Oh,
they
there you
paid
go.
more money.
I know. It's just like it just is wrong. It just doesn't seem right. It's like it's Staples.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
I mean,
I'm like,
we're anti-LA sports in Boston, so boo-hoo. But I do actually feel for you guys because Staples Center became, even though it is a company, it's still that name is.
I know.
Staples Center. It's like renaming the Sears Tower. It was still a company, but it's the Sears Tower. Like, come on. But what are you gonna do? Yeah, Crypto.com. That's like the PapaJohns.com bowl. I'll never forget that. Like, really? You gotta say .com every time. Well, it's 17 to 15 at halftime at the PapaJohns.com bowl. Ay. But,
Oh,
but
something.
anyway, that's what. See, I always think of racing. I want to have sponsors all over this. I don't care. I'll pour out for sponsors. I'm a racing guy. We're all about sponsors. After I play every concert, I want to thank Burger King and Chick-fil-A and Dr. Pepper
Chick-fil-A.
and Dunkin' Donuts and I'd love
Everyone.
it. It'd be great.
Stop
Red Bull,
up.
I don't care. Yeah, hey. Musicians need more ways to make money. I don't know why they haven't thought like a race car driver. It just has sponsors everywhere. I've always wanted to do that. Outside of the endorsements, which again you're the king of, but why not just have brands all over?
Sorry,
Or maybe
but
when
are
I
you-
open the accordion, then I have brands inside, or something.
Are you going to go to the Grammys?
Yeah, I always go.
And then-
I mean, I more. That's a whole other discussion we have for 18 hours. But I more hate watch the Grammys.
Hate watch,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
Most
Get
of
into
my
that.
musicians, yeah. I mean, the Grammy premieres; those are the real Grammys. That's who you get.
Why do
The
you hate?
real
What do you mean?
amazing.
What do you mean hate watch? Like,
Well,
because you just
the ones you see at 8 p.m. are all
Okay.
the famous people that most of us musicians, But the real musicians are in the Grammy premieres. The Jacob Colliers, the Esperanza Spaldings, the Chicories, the world music people that, or the classical albums, stuff like
do you like all the new music of today?
Oh, God. Sean's like, don't get him started.
Oh my God, we were looking at like I don't know some music on your billboard with my 16-year-old. I'm like, who's this? Is this popular? Who's
I don't
this?
think
Who's
I've
this? I'm
liked
like,
music
ugh.
since like the late 50s, but it's outside of, Yes, or Stevie Wonder, or Earth, Wind and Fire, things like
Right.
that,
You were born in the wrong generation.
outside of that, it's hardly anything.
Do you like rap? No.
I like liked it originally because you could play it for a baby. I mean, you could play MC Hammer for a 3-year-old. You got no problem. Try doing that today. Yeah, good luck.
It's just changed so much.
True. It's true, man.
I keep thinking like how I love, listening to all like 70s and 80s of kind of like my high school period and all that. I'm thinking, oh my goodness, because I have girls, they're 23, 21, and 19, or no, 16. And I'm thinking like when the time they're like middle age, is that what they're going to remember back their high school years and they just want to listen to this bullshit?
Probably. But the thing is,
I can't
music,
stand it.
I mean, music hasn't changed since the early 90s. It's the same 1-5 minor 6-4, somehow cycled around and moved a little bit here and there. It's been the same since then. You go back and listen to what was popular in the 80s. I have to listen a couple of times to transcribe it or actually be able to pull it out. And still I missed that chord. You never miss a chord the past 30 years of music. Find me a tune where it's like I got to listen to it more than half of listen to actually be able to pull it all out. I mean, what happened? I mean, what you're in the business more than the rest of us. What happened?
Tell us, Sean.
Forget
Tell us.
even going from the late 1800s and Stravinsky and Messi and going from that to more popular music. But
Inquiring minds want to know.
I don't know. I mean, I probably need a lot of people hating me, but well, we had some bad. I mean, think rap, please, it's not music.
It should be. If it was categorized as poetry, I would actually enjoy it a lot. If we could recategorize it as another thing.
Yeah,
Although I would say
what
that for earlier
what kind of poetry you having? Yo, motherfucker. You my bitch. Let's be real. I mean, a lot of it does that. It's like on again, and I can't stand people who listen to that shit in the car. They drive by. It's like, it's like.
Well, sometimes I will blast like some way out late 1800s music just to be funny going through a drive-through. It's like rap, Latin music, and then me. And it's like, what's he blasting? Or a Frank Gambale solo, like Alan Holdsworth or something. But I mean, because it's what the masses. Well, I mean, this is the thing about lyrics that I just don't. Lyrics took over music, 70 years ago, and
that's part of songwriting, though. I mean, we've had this discussion many times.
I know we've had that. I wish all lyrical music was in a different category. It's like because I don't even understand. Actually, this is where I'm weird. I don't actually understand enjoying music or dancing to music. I actually don't understand.
What do you mean?
To me, it is something like art or architecture or watching Tom Brady play football. To me, it's something you watch and you're amazed at as something. I just see it as a meritocracy. So if I listen to music, I want to analyze it and see how amazing it is. Which I do with you. I'm like, how did he think? I don't understand. Like, let's just go dance. I don't get that because I work too hard to become the musician I am, and I know people that are way better than me that quit because no one can understand how good they are, let alone that their careers aren't. I know people that just flat out quit that are just unbelievable, and I've seen too many people work at it to have it just be something that's just like a cookie that that's a good cookie. It's like, no, it has to be something that I could spend a year looking at one Art Tatum recording and just be like, what in the. So it's something I more marvel at and I respect and analyze and look at versus just a thing. People go to a museum to study art and wow, look at the way that's how I look at music.
Right, okay.
It's not just, what are we doing? I could have wrote that on a napkin.
You don't want to go out clubbing and just dance it all out?
I know. I mean, I understand it, yes, but I'm weird. I mean, I'm in the 100th of 1% on that, but that's just because I've seen too many amazing people that were never that respected, or too many people that quit, and I've spent too much time in it. And there's just too many famous people that write 3-chord music, and they're 100 millionaires. Like, which is why I love sports. That gets back to my original thing. I love sports because it's a pure meritocracy. That's why I love it. It doesn't matter who you are. If you're better than that person, you're going to get on the field, even if he's getting paid way more than you.
What's your favorite sport?
That's what I'm a racing guy.
Okay.
Which racing is totally that. I mean, if you're faster than this guy, they don't care who you are. You're in the car.
Right.
And that's why I love. Now, of course, music is less objective than sports, but I think it is far more objective than most people have stated it as the past, say, 70 years or so. It's far more objective. Because if you don't have a ranking system, you get to a point where you can't tell the difference between a Taylor Swift or an Art Tatum. And that's a dangerous place to be. And I think most young people would be like, well, they just like that and they like that. It's like, whoa, this is dangerous. If you can't tell who's better out of those two, then we have a problem with society. And that's kind of where we are. You know, what's more advanced, a Messiaen piece or a Sam Smith piece, or I don't know, pick anybody, Adele piece. I mean, and most of these people aren't even writing it, right? They just sing it.
Right.
You know, at least, I mean, I know someone like a Lady Gaga. I know she can sing Lush Life. I know she can sing old advanced jazz tunes, and she actually knows the chords. She knows what's going on. So it's good to see someone like that.
Right.
Too many people's like, do they have any idea what even a D7 versus a C minor 7 is? Do they even know some basic stuff? So it's tough because I know too many people have spent their life to become a great musician, and it doesn't matter anymore.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
That's interesting.
Oh.
And it's very, because then I think, what's the point of practicing? What's the point of getting better? What is
Right.
the point of young kids spending $250,000, $300,000 to go to music school when no one can tell the difference between, you know, crap, good, great, terrible? No one can tell the difference. So why are they spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to go to music school when it's not going to matter? It's almost criminal. So I worry about the meritocracy of the art of music.
Right.
Is, yes, I know it's more subjective than other things. I know, but it's still, there is still a level of, the best way I can say is a guitar player I know this does flamenco guitar. He said music and art is like a ruler. Once you get past the 11-inch mark, yes, then it's stupid to debate who's better, Chick Corea or Herbie Hancock. Then I agree, it's stupid to debate that. But there is a point that you have to get to the 11-inch mark before you get in that final inch, where you should be judged and you should want to, how can I get better? And have people be critical of you. Well, where can I improve? Until you get to that point, yes, it is a judge system, you know. And then once you get up to the top, then yeah, now we can agree it's stupid to debate who's better. But
Who was like most influential when with your whole music career and everything, if you had to say?
I guess it would depend on the genre, though. Like if it was folk and accordion playing, I'd say Gus Vizor. Amazing French accordion player. If it was jazz, it could be Chick, but it could be Art Tatum. There's a couple of people. Even that would get more specific of genre. I mean, if it's Brazilian, of course, it's Hermeto Pascoal. So it would depend on genre. So,
okay.
but yeah, music's a tough place to be right now. I don't know, but Sean, you know, you know more. You know more than me on this, so.
No,
The expert.
I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know everything. I don't know.
I know something to be able to write that much music that quickly. I don't know anybody that can do that.
Well, but it's kind of common with a lot of really hard-working, TV composers and film composers. I mean, there's all these kind of famous things. Like when, I guess, Jerry Goldsmith did Chinatown in 10 days. He did, what was that movie? Harrison Ford plays the president, and the plane gets hijacked. What the hell's that movie called?
Air Force One? No.
Air Force One. Yeah.
Okay.
So Jerry did that in 2.5 weeks.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah. So there's a lot of guys who can just like kick it out, Yeah, you just gotta get on a roll. Like I said, you don't think about it, just do it. And
Easy for you to say.
And film's going really, really different too. Like, I'm not really a fan of like any new guys. No, I'm definitely gonna get in trouble. But
Yeah, I was just gonna say, edit.
cut. I just don't. I'm still stuck in my old ways. Like, I'm a John Williams guy, Jerry Goldsmith guy. I love Elliot Goldenthal, Alan Silvestri. Of course, Bernard Herrmann's how I became a film composer. Just listen to those scores. So I'm still kind of stuck in that world. Like all these new dudes coming up, I just don't hear. Many times, what's the right word? Homogenized. There's not a whole lot of uniqueness. That's my opinion. But I mean,
It's the same as I was saying with pop music.
Yeah.
It's the same. Yeah.
Everything's the same. I mean, like with popular music and rock music, I'm still stuck in the 70s. And
Good place to be.
yeah, that was all the best rock bands in history. There's no one out there now that's touching anywhere close.
It's so funny. We'll go through like his 5,000 CDs down there, and I'll just pick one, and I want to know about stories about each person. I'm like the Eagles,
Oh,
this,
he'll know.
this, you too.
They'll tell you stuff that's not in their biography.
Right?
I know. The stories are very, very interesting.
I just find that music's gotten to this point where everybody's not the same. They're all trying to get a hit. I'm sure that's always been the case in general, but a lot of the bands that I grew listening to, they just wrote songs and they happened to become hits because they're so good. Now it's a formula.
Yeah, it's formula.
So total formula. Do this, and that. It's someone's going to give you a bright shiny object. You know, that's what happens.
Unless you're really famous, then you can do something more unique. But that's
Yeah.
only after. If
Right.
you try to do something unique from the bottom,
Doesn't
they'll be
work.
like, "Well, we're not going to be able to market that because it won't get famous."
Yeah, who was selling this to? Who's gonna buy it? You know, and it's all part of the dumbing down of society these days.
Of course.
All these kids, they get slapped in the head, and they have no idea what is good anyway. You know, they don't. I don't know. It's just weird. I'm really. Here comes out my negativity. There you go, man. And
Yeah, I pulled it
Captain
out.
Negative.
where's my
Push it
cape?
out.
Like I hear this stuff all the time, and I'm like, oh, check out this song, dude. It's really, really cool. No, it's not. I mean, a lot of stuff's just so bad, you know. Well, who am I? I'm not, making bajillions of dollars. I don't wear bling. I don't know. I mean, but they're doing something right. They're making the money, like that. Big, big money. Like someone today has to just explain to me Kanye West. I want that explained to me. I mean, this guy's got no talent, and he's worth so much fucking money, and I'm like, I don't get it, and he's an asshole. So he's gonna come over and kick my ass. I don't think so.
He might. He jumped on stage how many times at the Grammys?
Yeah, I've been there those times, and I don't know, but I don't get well, that's popular. I don't get why people like it. I can't. I'm supposed to be so diverse and open-minded, but that's one road I'm not open-minded. I thought when rap came out, I thought for sure it's going to be here for like a couple of years. No, it's the entire music business now. Yeah, like I didn't like the whole grunge thing. Like I never understood Nirvana.
I didn't either.
I'm not going. Okay, it has a quiet part, a loud part, quiet part, and a loud part, and it's all too loud, and there's no dynamics. It's like that's what people like. That's why I stay in my little bubble.
Well, I think the music industry figured out that everyone can very easily, including me, who is, I can't listen to a note without analyzing, but even my ear, which I feel has, concrete walls surrounding it, can be susceptible, where I will catch myself going into a supermarket and they'll have something on and be like, it's a party in the USA. I'm like, oh my God, no. Like even me, a 2-chord song with 5 melody notes, the dumbest possible song you could write. Even me, I will, because I've heard it so many times, even my ear goes, oh yeah, I like that song. No, you don't like that song. So if I can get wrapped up, then people that know nothing about a C chord, let alone anything else, can easily be wrapped up into this stuff. If you pump it and play it, and you know more than anybody, there's only a couple of people that run the whole industry, right? A couple of companies, a couple of people. And they say, we're going to pump that song, we're going to pump this artist, we're going to pump, ooh, that artist sounds like my artist. Sign them, and then make sure they never play another gig again. Okay, get this, and then we're going to pump these. And then people go, oh my God, I love that. Do you really love it? I don't know. I think this whole new thing with Spotify and Pandora before it, where you click a band you like, and then if you don't touch the thing, it starts going away to other bands you've never heard of. That's good, because you will find other people that are not famous that sound similar to this. But so that gets people a little bit more, and obviously with YouTube, it's opened it up. Certainly in the accordion world, we found accordion players who are ridiculously good that no one's ever heard of that are in a village in Romania. Thank you to YouTube.
Yeah.
So there is that, but who's making the money still is the big time people. And I don't know, how do you get out of, when you've dumbed music down to 4 chords and now even 3 and 2 chords, how do you, I don't know how, I mean, if we hit rock bottom, I don't know, how do we bounce, how did we go from Stravinsky and Messiaen and Debussy 110 years ago, how did we go from that to Taylor Swift? How did that happen?
It's 50.
How? I don't get it. I don't get it.
No.
I don't understand it.
I'm like the biggest geek. Not a geek, but like, I love it. Like, I'm so not in the know in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Like, I remember I dated this girl. She was like 24 years old.
Oh boy, here comes the story.
I know, those are the really good ones.
They always say, I was dating this girl.
Yeah, I mean, and she's, well, I mean, how old was I at the time? 48, something like that. And And she looked just like Jessica Alba. She was hot, right? So I pick her up and we're going to this party at Capitol
Not
Records.
the toast party, okay.
No, and it was a birthday. It was a birthday party for my friend, another big TV composer. He used to do like Happy Days and all that kind of stuff. And so I show up. Well, on the way down, we're trying to have a conversation, and like, I go, so what do you do? Like, well, I met her. She was a bank teller, and so I just asked her if she wanted to go to this thing. But I said, she was going, well, I'm going to school. I'm like, okay. No, realizing I could be her dad. I mean, I'm twice her age. But I don't care. I was looking at it. And then she started, I said, what kind of music are you into? Because I was playing something in the car, maybe Led Zeppelin or something. She had no idea who Led Zeppelin was.
Oh, my God. Even the accordion player knows.
What planet are you from? She goes, well, aren't you into... She picks the radio station. I wanted to throw out of the car.
What'd she pick?
I can't name you one band.
Aren't you into
nothing.
Katy Perry?
Oh my God, that one was definitely on there. So I'm like, I already want to just turn around and drop her off at home.
That's what you get for dating those young girls.
But music, they don't know anything. Like, even when I was a kid, I knew my parents' music, right? I mean, because it's like a 20-year gap, basically. And I knew their music, all the bands, the songs, and all that. This generation today, these kids today,
Get off my lawn.
they don't go back and listen where all things evolved and stuff.
Again, not even recently. You're playing the Carpenters. They're like, oh, this is nice. What's this? This is not 1850. This is 70s.
Right. I mean, I remember I saw some freaking article online. That's when Paul McCartney did that song with Kanye West, and I saw some comments. Look how nice Kanye is helping out that old man. Right? I'm like, I'm reading it going, what? Oh, it's the Beatle. He's the dude.
That's funny.
But that they had no idea. When I used to teach him, this way back when I was teaching, I started teaching him when I was like my teenage years, and even back then, those kids that I was teaching didn't know. They one said, okay, like Paul McCartneyism. You mean he used to be in another band? Like, yeah, you gotta be shitting me, you know. I mean, where'd you grow up? I mean, you know, but all that
Butte,
stuff.
Montana.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy, but I don't think they care to. I think the way society is, and the way kids are raised today, they're not exposed to anything that's good. It's all bullshit. You know, they all have their little cell
Well,
phones.
it's all on the cell. It's funny that, I mean, everything in life is irony, right? In the age where you have access in a half a second to every piece of music ever written, people have the most narrow mind. Where 50 years ago, you had to work your butt off to hear music from a year ago, and people hear music from the 1600s without a problem. It's just amazing how that is today. It's the exact opposite of what you would expect.
Yeah, it's like
Google it. Just Google it. So I don't know.
Like,
which is good for me though, because people think accordion is only polka. I'm like, great, let me blow your mind. So, you know. So I like the handicap I get. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, I never saw it that way, but that's cool. I don't know. Kids are ignorant, but
Good thing you didn't have kids.
Oh,
they would have grown up to be something interesting, I think. Yeah.
Oh, they would have.
Maybe mentally ill. But this is cool. So we're gonna get
We've gone over everything here, yeah.
Yeah, we kind of
trash the entire music world. This is
right.
great.
So we're not going to work again. So it's just like it's just the way it is, you know. I think my generation is probably the last generation that grew up actually listening to cool stuff. Yeah, the younger generation.
Well, I grew up listening to 1940s accordion music, so
Right.
I mean, you know.
But I mean,
that was my records.
The majority of these kids don't even care to go listen to them. Like they come to my house to see my CD collection, which is pretty epic. They don't know who anybody is.
They don't know what a CD is.
Yeah.
Oh, not at all.
I mean, they don't know who Jimi Hendrix is. They don't know who. How do you not know this? I mean, it's kind of weird. It's just weird. But so yeah,
Unless
I think
it gets famous in a TikTok video.
Oh, yeah.
Then,
Then.
like last time I saw Billy Joel, he's like, I gotta play this song I haven't played in 30 years because they said it got famous on TikTok or something. I don't know what it is, but
Oh,
we're going to do
TikTok
Zanzibar. It was a great tune. And he hadn't played it in decades because he was like, it's an okay tune, but it got famous on TikTok. So he played. It's like maybe that's one way to get old tunes famous. You got to get it big.
Probably,
on some
yeah.
TikTok.
TikTok.
Video. So there you go, Sean. You can get on TikTok. TikTok.
TikTok.
I don't write.
I dare you.
You're going to see Sean in the back of the Porsche doing it
I know, like
in the driveway when we come by next time. What are you doing? I'm putting my music to a
pay
dance.
money for that. I can just see it now.
Well, it's just fun. So now we're gonna get you up again, and you're gonna go do some jamming.
Yeah.
You gotta show the people what you're doing.
Yeah, well, I'm keeping them in suspense, Sean.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, we never see you play. We see your workstation, but I've never seen you turn a knob. I guess you did at one point.
Yeah, it's all mystery.
I have no proof of this. Yeah. Your picture's on these posters, so I guess you did it, but I don't have any proof of this.
I'm an enigma.
Yeah, I'm well aware of that.
You should have seen me when I was going to Berkeley. My teachers are kind of like frustrated with me, like, because I went there and I tested out of pretty much everything, and I had a really good guitar teacher when I started out. So I tested out of everything, and I started doing the same thing I was doing in high school, skipping, because I was bored, and it was true. And back then, see, Berkeley changed a lot, because back then there were no chicks in that school, maybe 3. It was a totally dude.
And you didn't get them.
Oh God, I can't
No, I
imagine
did.
you like that.
I actually did,
Some of those
and
girls.
Those are the days when the teachers did as many drugs as the students did.
oh yeah, and I remember it was it my first semester? Vinny Vineyard, that was his name, black dude, and he goes, "Boy, you don't like harmony at all, do you?" I said, "Well, yeah, drugs, love harmony. That's what it's all about. This is a boring class." Let me test it out, and so he was frustrated with me. Then I had this other teacher, I can't remember the name of the class or who it was. We had to do this, record a song or whatever, piece of music. He couldn't play it. So I'm like, why am I in this classroom? And then it's talking about, I love when some of these guys still talk about like, well, this is how this guy figures things out. This guy plays, this is harmonic concepts. I said, no, it's not true, because I know the guy. I remember he was trying to explain Alan Holdsworth to me. He said, I just played with him last week. I said, he's friends. We were friends until they died. So I was very frustrated.
Funny, that guy's come up twice in this conversation.
Oh, he's a dude, man.
Oh my God, talk about a monster musician. Holy crap.
But I learned so much more. No, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of stuff I did learn at Berkeley. But I learned more from the other students, because we'd be sitting in hallways practicing for your class, jamming out there from all over the world. Yeah. It's like I got more out of that than I did going in the classroom. I remember we had to take, because you took your major, then you had to go take your majors for your guitar or piano, whatever your instrument is. Oh God, it was so boring. I remember there's this chord class, and you had to like play the chords, but they only wanted to play the forms that they showed you, like a form, like your hand goes that way. And like I don't think like that. I kind of like voice lead on the guitar, like keyboard players do. And so I can stay in one spot and play every chord you want. I just think of the notes harmonically. That's all you gotta do. Teacher didn't like that, so I never showed up at his class. I just did the midterm and final, and he had to pass me. I mean, he had to. I mean, like, dude. I mean, there's no way. I definitely know what I'm doing. I was a way better guitar player back then than I am now. That's for sure.
Well, no one's ever heard you since 2000, so we're not.
There's the secret.
If no one hears you, we don't know. See, then you could say you're amazing, and we'd have to just
Keeping us all in
Yeah.
suspense.
I should try that.
But I don't know where was going all that shit. No.
No, different people think different. Like I'm a visual thinker in terms of chords. But like I never ever practiced crazy hard licks. I would just think of the form. And if someone says play an A7 arpeggio, I just
Right,
play a
right.
C7 sharp 9 flat 13 flat 8.
Right.
Play that in F. I just think of the form, and then I
Right.
can do anything with it. So that was but no one would really teach it like that.
Right.
But it sounds like you with the guitar, they would try to teach this, and everybody's different.
Yeah, I never liked forms. I never liked. I was an interesting student. I gotta tell you that. But I had, like I said, I had a really amazing guitar teacher, and he kind of took things off at a whole nother level. And so I absorbed myself to it. And but yeah, I don't like curriculum. I don't like you know. So I was all excited when I went to Berkeley, and then by the time I left, you know, I had a full boat ride, 4 years, all scholarship, didn't have to pay for anything. So I went 2 years, and I was going back to sign up for the year number 3, and I just stopped at my mom's office and said, I'm not going. And she was like freaking out. What are you talking about? You got this full boat ride. No offense, but I don't need any of this to make it. I mean, some of the biggest songwriters in the world can't read a note. Yeah. And I was right. You know, I can't go in a classroom anymore. All my friends are out getting record deals, becoming famous, and I'm sitting in a freaking classroom. I mean, one class I did not do good because I was a 4.0. But one class I did not. This is epic. You have to see my handwriting. It's another level of what is this?
It really is.
I've never seen.
He writes all over.
I've never seen your handwriting. Yeah.
So, this one class was about notation. You learn how to draw notes and all that.
Well, back then there was no finale in Sibelius. So,
and my teacher would come by and go like, "What is that?" I don't know.
Mary had a little lamb. See?
And so that was one class that bad. I actually got in trouble one time. This is going to handwriting because fuck the music. We're talking about handwriting now.
So hijacked my handwriting.
When I got divorced, I had write alimony checks, right? So I wrote this one check, and I swear to God, I wasn't screwing around. So I guess the ex gets it, whatever. And I get a call from a lawyer. Said, "Why are you messing with me? Why are you messing?" Our client said, "What? I didn't do anything. I'm gonna talk to her." And this check was really bad. She was not able to cash it. So
it's a good strategy.
So then I'm in court about this because thinks I'm screwing around. I'm like, well, I mean, my handwriting's bad. You're married to me.
Yeah, I know. How does she not?
My handwriting's getting worse by the day. And so I'm looking at it, and I'm in court. And I go, well, it's a Picasso.
You said that?
Yeah. But they only fly too well with the judge. And
What did the judges or one of the judges called you?
Mr. Manilow, because I write the songs.
Mr. Manilow.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, I'll take that. And but yeah, so it's weird.
It's a Picasso.
It's a Picasso. I wish I had it. It was pretty way out. And one of my assistants at the time, like Ayako, she was gone. She was this unreadable. And yeah, it's a Picasso.
There you have it.
Talk about a tangent from music in Berkeley. Okay.
Yeah, that's funny.
Good luck editing.
Will bring us. Well,
My
thank you
goodness.
for joining us today.
Yeah.
And clicking subscribe to our YouTube channel. And we can't wait to have you back.
Rocking, and you
Rock
will be
on.
back while you're in town, hopefully.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I see. It's a secret. I'm keeping everybody in suspense. They're thinking, oh, he just plays polkas.
Come
So.
back, come back, come back.
Pennsylvania polka. She's too fat for me. That's all I can play.
Interesting. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Cool. We're rocking.
See you next week.
The part where you fell asleep while I was talking.
I'm sorry.
We haven't slept all
I
night.
looked over and I'm like, oh boy, how do I say something to wake him up without looking like I'm trying to wake him up?
I'm surprised you haven't fallen asleep.